Hey everyone, I am back with another fantastic guest, Syeed, who brings over 9 years of experience in tech and SaaS sales. Syeed, it is great to have you on the show. How is everything going, man?
Hi, Tarun. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been good so far. I hope the same with you as well.
Yeah, you see, absolutely. I am also very excited to discuss with you all the strategies and all. Uh, so before we proceed, I would like to know about your background and how you started your career as SDR and how you've been in the tech sales.
Sure, definitely. Well, my actual name is Syeed Umair Khan, and I'm currently working in enterprise tech sales. And I've had the privilege of supporting businesses across APAC and India in their digital journey transformations.
Mhm.
Today, I'm obsessed with learning whether it's evolving from band to medic, embracing value selling, or understanding how AI is shaping the future of outreach. Sales is no longer just a job for me, it's a craft. I'm
Mhm.
excited to share what's worked for me, what didn't, and what I'm still learning because this journey never stops. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for my audience, here in today's episode, we are diving into his journey and the strategy that actually worked from him and how he consistently closed the deals. So this one is going to be full with the insights. So please stay tuned and let's discuss with the Saeed that how he is using the tools and what are the strategy that is helping him to generate the leads and cracking the deals of the in the enterprise sales. So, Said, I just want to ask you one thing before like uh, go into the deep about the technology and all. First of all, can you please tell me that every SDR have this point always when they start with their career that this is something where they can see, oh, okay, this is the thing that where I can say this is working and this is not working. So what was that turning point for you basically? Can you please explain?
Well, I would like to begin with how I started my journey so that it actually inspires others if it is.
Yeah.
So I started in customer support, and that's where I've developed my love for solving real human problems. Over time, I realized I wanted to have a bigger impact beyond reactive conversations. That's how I transitioned into tech sales. My,
Mhm.
my path into sales was not conventional. I started in customer service where I learned how to listen. That foundation helped me transition into consultative sales,
Mhm.
and where it's listening is my superpower. Along the way, I've been shaped by some truly incredible mentors. My manager at my previous organizations, like Isha Saini, is someone I deeply admire. Her leadership, empathy, and ability to bring the best out of people helped me transform professionally. I also owe a lot to Deepak Hiranandani, who's also one of the ex-managers, whose guidance actually brought clarity to my sales journey and also helped me discover my potential in this world. And above all, my elder brother, Syed Zabi. He's been a lifelong example of discipline, humility, and consistency. He's the kind of leader I strive to be every day. The journey hasn't been a straight line. I went from understanding user pain in support roles to helping businesses scale using cloud and SaaS. That's what keeps me going. Curiosity, I never stopped learning. So from band framework of sales to medic, from product pitches to business storytelling, every step has taught me something new about people, process, and persistence. So the point here is that aha moment actually came when I stopped thinking like a seller and
Mhm.
actually started thinking like a consultant. I
That's
remember tweaking my outreach to focus less on features and more on business impact. And that's when I started getting real responses. Someone replied to my message saying this actually feels like it's written for me, an email. So that's when I knew I was on the right path, and
so
that's the turning point.
basically I can say that you are also one of the those SDR who always are giving the personalization on the top of their messaging or
Well,
Uh,
that really helps. Yeah.
Outreach, yeah. So that's absolutely, yeah. I can also say that this is something like if we are talking about, and even the tech sales, especially in the tech sales, but even if we are doing any kind sort of outreach campaign, that the personalization is the key now, because everyone, the sounds are too much there, the sounds are too
Correct.
loud. So you have to be like speak something that is totally different from others, then only the prospect is going to listen you. Otherwise you will lost in the sound, right? So you have to like put yourself, or you can say you have to showcase yourself are totally different in terms of whatever you are offering from the others, from your competitors, you can say. Then only they are going to give you the value, and the most of the thing, like most of the important thing, that their time they are going to give you. So we
Truly.
all salespeople are just looking for the time now in these days, so we can get 5 or 10 minutes of our prospects, so that we at least we can explain them that what the business impact that we can make on their businesses, right? So yeah,
Right.
absolutely fine. And I'm totally agree with you. And one more interesting fact that I would like to share here, that I also started my career as a customer care associate. Okay. So I have been recorded already. This is third episode that we are recording right now.
Hmm.
And all three SDRs are their backgrounds are from the customer sales associate, customer service associate. And there is a point actually, when you work as a customer care associate, you understand the customer, like you understand the customer service. And once you understand the customer service, and I always say that who have the good knowledge and who always give the priority to their clients or the customers, they are always going to go, like make the good sales. The reason behind that, you understand the customer. You are not the sales, you are not going to your customer as a salesperson. You are going as
That's
a
true.
consultant, as just you mentioned. So you mentioned the right thing, and I totally agree with you as well. So let's move forward. We all like in the business development, or we are talking about the SDRs, the very first task that we have to build the list, actually, the build the prospect list, so that we can approach them, and we can like start our further actions onto it. Like, so my question is to you, like when we are talking about the building the list, so what are the stages that you follow to build the list, and how you are going to figure it out that, yeah, these are the prospects who may be interested in my uh, services or whatever the offers that you have. So can you please go ahead with that and share any example with us if you have?
Well, definitely. So, building lead lists from scratch is definitely tiring, and it demands so much from you.
Hmm.
I don't actually start with tools. I start with the intent first.
Hmm.
So the biggest mistake that I have previously made as an SDR is that I jump into Zoom Info or LinkedIn Sales Navigator without knowing
Hmm.
what they're actually looking for.
Hmm.
For me, it begins with a simple question: Who is most likely need change right now? So basically, I decide that on by looking at the industries going through disruption. So
Hmm.
it could be healthcare, tech, BFSI, or manufacturing adoption cloud. So these industries are actually cloudifying themselves. So that's one disruption that I've seen in the last 1 decade. So I think that's one intent. And then companies undergoing transformation. It could be like digital initiatives, mergers and acquisitions, or geographic expansions. And also one last thing is org chats, organization chats. If there is a shift, probably if there is a new CIO or CISO, often bring new priorities. Then I build my hypothesis. So once I understand this, the intent, I build my hypothesis. Why would this company need a better solution? So if you're thinking in that way, I think once I've mapped out that, only then I drive out these tools like Zoom Info, Sales Navigator, Prospective, and Lucia to build the contact layer. The idea is I don't just want a big list. I want a list that's built for relevance, right? So and when you pair intent with insight, you get leads that actually convert for your AEs as well.
Actually, say you are. like I'm agree with you, but the thing is that if we are talking about the new SDRs and the BDRs, they are always facing the issue when they have to figure it out, like how to find out the exactly the intent. Like what are the points where they can say, like these are the points if we are marking it, and we can say that yes, these are the intents that we can follow and we can find our right prospect for my offerings. So the thing is that how you are figuring out that what are the right intents at that particular moment for your particular service. Like let's say for an example, I'm not sure that if it is going to relevant with your past experience or not, but again, just try to understand. If you want to take any other example apart from me mine one, you can also take that. But let's say if you are into the tech sales and you are just trying to like you have to search for the customers or the clients who are actively looking for the cloud services. So how you are going to approach it? Like what will be your strategy to build the list? What intents actually you will follow?
Well, so the intent buyer option is available on multiple tools, especially on Sales Navigator as well.
Mm,
So once you build your prospect on Sales Navigator, the first thing that you look at is what is the hiring spree that is going on right now. So in
mm,
case if there is a spike in hiring, or is there they're disrupting their hiring currently due to some issues. So that's one first thing that I would look at. And secondly, why would they hire? Right? So if there is a problem, that's when the solution comes in. So every day there is a new problem coming in, and that's when, as a new SDR, if you look at what problem your product or your company solves in that direction, that intent, if you're creating, then I think it'll be easier to map out the personas. So a CTO will be probably responsible for multiple functions within an organization, and he
mm,
might not be there to look at, "Oh, why is this not working, what's working." So there are other stakeholders who will inform the CTO on their pain points, and
mm,
CTO is there to address them and see what's the value that comes in.
mm,
So if you're looking to reach out to a CTO, I think you go not with, like, drop ground level stuff, saying that, what, we built something for you for cloud. In case if you're looking for cloud transformation, I don't think a CTO will be interested in understanding the entire process.
mm,
As a new SDR, what you're looking at is the numbers. Numbers for CTO matters. So what I would say is, like, I'll reduce the time. I'll
mm,
reduce the cost for you. I'll
mm,
take up things for you that you're responsible for.
mm,
Then a CTO will be more than glad to give his ear. Then the 1 minute conversation will land up like 20 minutes more, and you involve your
mm,
account executives, account directors, or your solution experts. They'll
mm,
be more than glad to answer any product related questions,
mm.
right? So you build that stage for your account executive. That's what your job is, and give that relevant information.
Got it. So, if I summarize this, you are trying to say that if you are going, first of all, you have to look for the service that you are offering, and you have to map that to, like what are the exactly the pain point that you are solving, and for those pain points, who is the responsible person to take care of in that particular company or the organization where you are going to target, and according to that, you can map the personas, and then you can add. Uh,
Exactly. And also as an SDR, because you're
mm,
the first one to connect with any prospect. So I think you have to believe in your company and your product, that it solves a problem, right? So unless you believe in your company and product, then I don't think, it might be possible.
Got it. Yes, definitely. If you are not believing even in your product yourself, then even you are not quite confident when you are talking to your prospect and
Exactly.
offering them that what exactly you have to for them, right? So, as you already mentioned that you are using some of the tools to build the list and the database of your lead list. Can you please tell us which one is your go-to tool for the lead list building, basically?
Well, I would say that my cell phone would be the first tool, because I'm more of a caller person, right? So I don't mostly rely on messages or emails. So
Hmm.
it's always like, humanize the effort. So
Hmm.
what I do is I pick up my phone. That's the first tool. Prospecting for me isn't just about like gathering names, or it's not about like, building intelligent target lists. These has to be real conversations. So unless you talk to me, I wouldn't figure out what exactly the value it carries, right? So what I do is, first during my research, right? So I use Sales Navigator. That's where I get the real context. I track decision makers, organization changes, recent promotions, any posts that they have made on LinkedIn, right? So these are the two things that will help me personalize when it comes to my reach out. So first is always Sales Navigator. I can't imagine my life without Sales Navigator, right? So that would be there, and then Lucia comes in to fill the gaps. I rely on it to for direct contact information, validate mobile numbers or emails, where I can like make want to make outreach more effective. Then comes in Zoom Info, and Zoom Info is my point where firmographic data, things like company size, revenue, location, industry, but it never stops there, right? So you can use these tools for like multiple functions,
Mhm.
and but here's the thing, tools don't replace thinking, right? So they just accelerate it. I always start with, again, the hypothesis. Why would this company need what my company offers right now? So once I build that narrative, these tools help me actually to validate why am I selling and who matters. So I don't actually rely on one platform. They're like multiple tools. I build a prospecting system. Then the result is less noise, more focus, and outreach that actually, works.
These are the kind of the insight that we are exactly looking for the experienced people like you. So that's why I started the Decode Tech Sales as a podcast to have the new SDRs and BDRs who are just trying to make their careers in the tech sales field. And the reason behind I am starting this podcast, because when I started my career, Saeed, no one is there who is going to help me, because my very first company is GNR management, and there I am we are only two persons who are taking care of the lead generation and all. That is actually the small company. So that, like, when I started, I just exploring the internet. I read a lots of the books that is available over there, and like I just figured it out that they all are trying to sell either their books, their courses, their tools. Even if you are going to attend any webinar of these kind of the tools like the Apollo or the Zoom Info webinars or the Sales Waiters webinar, they are all saying that you can come out to the webinar and we are going to teach you how to crack the deals, how to build the list, and blah blah blah. But the thing is that they are only trying to just to sell their tools only on that particular webinar, and that's how it's always in my mind to start when I have the sufficient experience to share with the guys, with the audience. And I always believe in the learning. So when I'm talking to you guys, like the who are already having the good experience and they are already in the tech sales or in the same profession, I always move sing forward to you guys to learn that from your strategy, from your mindset. I am always like looking for to learn the new things, and like I am learning right now with from you. So
Well, learning never stops. I think, that's the way it has to be. When you stop learning is when you stop everything, right?
what are some red flags that tell you now this not is the probably worth reaching out to when we are talking about any particular prospect? So what are the parameters where you can say this is going to be in my build in my lead list, or this is not be in my lead list? So how you are managing your CRM or the Excel accordingly? Can you please just tell us that like what do you say when you see the when you see your own lead list that you build by your own, and how you are just filtering it out? So
Well, yeah, so definitely red flags that tell me it's not worth it. So, firstly, time is our biggest currency as an SDR. One of
mm-hmm.
the most valuable lessons I've learned is that the power of disqualifying early, it actually saves time, energy, and also builds better pipelines. So, for me, a big red flag is radio silence or after multiple quality touches,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially when the messaging is relevant, timed well, that often means either low intent or internal misalignment. So for me, if there is a radio silence, even though the reach out is very personalized, it's a red flag. Another sign is when there's no clear owner internally. If
Mm,
someone seems accountable or aware of transformation efforts, it's hard to build traction on that. And if there is no urgency, no engagement, no direction, I quickly step away. I can't build momentum when there is nothing. So instead, what I do is I refocus my energy on accounts that shows momentum. There's a movement, curiosity, or pressure to change as well, right? So that's where meaningful conversations can begin. So respect is something that I mean, I'm sure, like, there might be reasons that someone might not be responding, but when it comes to personalized outreach, the way we create our outreach, right? So it's going to be very personalized, and it's hyper personalized. So someone not responding to that, I think, I'm sure, like, the priorities are not there. So I would stop wasting time over there. And secondly, like, my one of my A's, right? So great learning from him. I said, like, when you call somebody, he has to respect your time and pick up the phone, right? So after the outreach. So basically what we do is we just, like, bombard people with emails and calls and messages. I'm sure, like, I wouldn't look at a credit card guy calling me.
mm,
I wouldn't pick up the phone. The moment I hear that, sir, I'm calling you from a credit for a credit card. So that's where you lost it. So
mm.
I have actually previously sold credit cards on cold outreach. So the only difference is, how do you build a conversation before you sell something?
Yes, that's the right point.
And also, as an SDR, you have to have the power to
Mm,
say no to certain prospects. I understand that, there's going to be a big company. He's going to be a big stakeholder within that company. But you respect yourself, saying that, you know what, I've done everything possible. So if you've done everything possible honestly, and then you take a call and you stop and say no, move on to a different prospect who can actually respect your time.
I can also explain this with an example here in India itself. Like you are talking about the credit card selling. I believe that people can relate to me. Whenever we are receiving any credit card companies calls, like the guy who called us, so some of the guy directly call, मैं आईडीएफसी बैंक से बात कर रही हूँ और मैंने आपका ये देखा है और आप हमारे पास आपके लिए एक फ्री आईडीएफसी कार्ड है. ओके, फॉर एन एग्जांपल. एंड द अनदर गाय विल कॉल यू एंड आस्क यू, क्या मेरी बात तरुण जी से हो रही है? ठीक है. द मोमेंट ही सेज क्या मेरी बात तरुण जी से हो रही है, यू विल रिप्लाई यस, है ना, एटलीस्ट यू विल रिप्लाई यस. हाँ, उसके बाद फिर वो आगे की कन्वर्सेशन है. बट यहाँ पे उसको वो जो 5 सेकंड और 10 सेकंड मेरे से चाहिए थे वो स्टार्ट हो चुका है अब उसका.
Correct.
when the moment I says yes, he has to, like, now this is the second line that it also depends. क्या वो उसके बाद डायरेक्टली सेल पेज पे आ जाता है कि अगेन एक और लाइन स्टार्ट करता है फॉर द रैपो बिल्डिंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. अगर if he is doing something like that, then obviously I'm going to listen him at least. And it's happened on few of the calls where we got sold कि हाँ ठीक है यार भेज दे मैं ले लेता हूँ. ठीक है. But again, you are absolutely right that the personalization is the key right now. But again, the question come here, when we are talking about the personalization, then what kind of the personalization you are talking about here? Like I see most of the SDRs, what they do, like suppose for an example, a guy, or you can say a company who recently got funded. Okay, and the SDR at the same moment, he's seen somewhere in the news or on the tools that okay, this company got funding. So he started his email like, congratulations, you got a funding, and then he start his offering the services. I have seen that. Do you say this is also the personalization?
Well, personalization for me would be very different. So let me
Mm,
just give you an example. So I recently joined a different organization,
mm,
but before me, I am a replacement of an existing SDR who left the organization. So I'm a replacement here. So how would I begin?
mm,
One of the examples is that I just randomly call that person, like an account which was assigned to a previous SDR. So it will be under me right now. So I'll reach out to the right stakeholder, just saying hi and informing him that, I'm a replacement for so and so person, and I've recently joined this organization, and I'll be the one as a point of contact for you for anything within related to this organization.
Mm-hmm.
So this person, the opposite person, is aware, but the stakeholder is aware that there is a change now. There's a new person comes in, and I know someone I can reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
So on this call, I'm not going to talk about my company anymore. I'm not going to talk about the
Exactly.
product.
But you are taking the example of an existing account. Let's take an example of the fresh account that you just build the list and that is in your list. Now this is the first time you are going to talk to him. So what kind of the personalization you are going to do here?
So the call would be about talking about myself and just telling him that you know what. So because you mentioned that I've recently joined, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a new organization. So I would just like send out a connect request with a personalized message saying that, you know what, I've recently joined so, and I would like to put you on my network so that it comes in handy. And then I call that person and say that, you know, you've got my connect on LinkedIn, and I just wanted to say hi to you. Nothing more about this. I just want to have a connection with you. That's it. And then you send out a request. I'm sure like he will look at his email, LinkedIn, and approve or probably accept the invite. So once the invite is accepted, you have the contact number, right? So you have the contact number, you have the email address. You slowly try to, build a conversation saying that, you know what, this is the company that I've just joined, and here's my offerings, and we would love to connect with you. Or probably ask him, like, if you're very closer to his company, probably ask him, like, you know what, I just wanted to connect with you for like 5-10 minutes. Would
Mm-hmm.
you be available for a smoke break? I'll connect with you personally.
Got it. Okay, when we are talking about the personalization side, the thing is that like the when we are like there is a problem with the personalization with the scale. Okay, like if we are going to spend like more than 1 hour on a particular prospect, on a single prospect, that then just to figure it out that what kind of the personalization that I can mention in my first email or in my first message or on my first call, then it will take a lots of the time to complete even for the 20 to 30 prospects in a day, right? So what is your take on to it, like how you are managing your time with personalization kind of the things, like when we say personalization, yes, it is very good thing we have to do, but personalization when we are scaling, it is also like making the problem, like it takes a lots of the time according to me, or the people who are already in the SDR team or in the BDR teams, they all always have the complaint that if we are going to like waste our 1 or 2 hour, I'm not saying waste, like spend 1 to 2 hours for on just only to figure out that what kind of the personalization that I can use in my email or the in my outreach, then what? So what is your take on to it?
So basically, you don't really need 50 unique messages. You
Mm,
just need three winning formats plus relevance. So here's the trick. I use 3 by 3 framework, which is 3 lines based on 3 insights. First is insights about the company.
mm,
Second, challenges they're likely facing. So I'm not sure, like, we as an SDR will be aware of all the challenges that the company is going through, your prospect company.
right.
So we just assume and probably look at what likely challenges might come up. So that will be the second line. And the third will be how others like them solved it, right? And then I tweak it based on persona, depending on IT, security, or probably digital, etc., etc., depending on that, right? The second question you had was like time management during personalization. I'm sure, like, let's be honest that it definitely takes up the entire day if you go with personalization. So what I learned it the hard way is that spending 15 minutes on one email doesn't scale when you have a pipeline to fill. So what I do is I treat personalization like a system, not an art project.
Okay.
So, firstly, I block on my calendar for high impact personalization.
Mm,
Usually, early morning when my mind is fresh, right? And then I group my leads by persona or industry. So that way I'm not starting from scratch every time.
mm,
I also use tools like ChatGPT to help me structure drafts, summarize profiles, suggest messaging angles.
mm,
Uh, Also, like, not only everything from GPT, I do not copy that and paste it, but I always add my own human touch to it.
okay,
So
great.
I work in 3 into 3 mode. So the key is to prioritize who actually deserves the level of personalization. I'm not saying that I'm not going to send bulk emails or bulk messages. I do that, but it depends on whom am I sending it to. So the level of personalization depends on personas like decision makers or warm leads.
Mm,
Not every contact needs a handcrafted message. That
mm,
would definitely take up a lot of time. So what I do is some just need some relevance,
mm,
clarity, or probably respect of their time. So what I do is done well is done perfectly. You're always juggling quantity and quality, but if your system is tight, your sanity will survive. So always remind yourself that you don't really need to personalize every line of it, every email of it, right? So not everyone wants to know कि ये मुझे personalized email है या नहीं.
mm,
So I wouldn't want like everyone, say every SDR sends out personalized email, then my inbox will be full. Then my thought process would be like, oh yeah, it's just a regular personalized message. So you have to decide on whom you're sending a personalized message to. And basically, I always rely on cold calling. So it's better to call and have a human touch to it than like send bulk messages.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to score our leads, and on basis of that scores, we have to build our system that like who are on the very high score, that where I have to put more and more time on my prospect, and who are on the less scores, I can go ahead with the bulk emailing or bulk messaging kind of stuff. It depends totally on the lead scoring and the thing like that what kind of the exactly the prospect is looking for. If you find out already the intent, so if you have the sort of information about the intent of that particular prospect, then you can go behind that. Otherwise you can go ahead with the normalization, like you can send a normal template of the email where you are just introducing yourself and your company and just asking for a 5 minutes to explain about them, about our services. That's all, right?
Correct. So the end point is basically you have to sell. So
Yeah. So as you all we already talking about the personalization, when I like while I am talking to you, I have seen that you are more and more a guy who is believe in cold calling, like who is believe in calling. I'm not saying the cold calling, but in the calls, like instead of the emails and the LinkedIn. So if I ask you that, if you have to prioritize which one we should use very first approach to our prospect, whether it's going to be a LinkedIn or the email or the cold call, which one is going to be the first choice? I mean to say, when we are approaching the prospect at the very first time, so how is your sequence look like? Basically, I would like to ask that
Well,
about.
firstly, yeah. So when it comes to outreach, what I do is I firstly have the account research done properly.
Mhm,
So some of the SDRs, especially me, what I did previously was that working as a lone wolf, right? So once a wolf gets out of the wolf pack, I'm sure like it will not survive. So account research, the basic things is you do your research using tools, web releases, press releases, look at their annual report,
mhm,
possibly any hiring spike and everything. But the best person to reach out to for account research is the account director or the account executive,
mhm,
the account it is. He will give you insights that you might have not even thought about. So your relationship with your account executive should start with your account research first is what I believe. So once you start talking about the account to your account executive, you'll get more insights, more research. Who'll be the right person to reach out to? I understand that you're using tools to understand organization mapping, persona mapping, but he will give you the best insight. He or she will give you the best insights. And also look at your existing teammates. I'm sure, like, they have done an outreach to the similar personas, right? So talk to your team, talk to your A's, understand and get the research. And once you have the proper research, right? So, you directly call the person. I wouldn't rely on sending out an email. First thing I would do is I know about everything right now. I've got the details. So I'll pick up my phone, call that person and say that, you know what, this is what I want to do.
mhm.
And
Again,
then
I would like to interrupt you here, Saeed. Basically, what I'm trying to ask you, when you're talking, when you're saying that you first go to your account executive and then you will take the details out of him, that's fine. That's absolutely fine with the existing accounts if you have any, right? But when we are talking about the very first approach, like when we are talking about the fresh accounts, so how you are going to take the how you are going to build your sequence on the very fresh accounts.
Well, I'm sure the industry would be the same, right? So let's just say, for an example, if you are a
Mm.
custom software development company, right? So you'll be reaching out to the same type of personas, same type of accounts, right? So irrespective of what industry they are from, it's going to be the same persona for you.
Yeah.
So that's how you lead with that an example from then A. So if you want, I can give you an example as well on here.
Mm.
So what you do is it's the same human with a different designation, different company that they're working
Yeah.
from.
Yes.
But for that person, the persona, it's gonna be the same. If a CTO of a e-commerce company, if you're dialing to, I'm sure like he'll have the same things, same kind of challenges,
Same
similar
point and same
things to
story. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. They may have the same. And here the thing is why I asked you this question actually, the SDR don't understand, the new SDRs don't understand this point. Like if they have any existing case studies already available with them, that is also one of the helpful document for them, right? You
Correct.
can read it out when you are reading it out, the case study, what the projects, what the developers, what the account executives, what the sales team already done with that particular client. You can get an idea that what was the pain point that we already solved for the e-commerce industry, let's say. So we know basically that, okay, these are the pain points that we already solved. On the basis of those pain points, you can also do some research and figure it out that what else they may have as in their pains, that where I can also that I can also mention in my outreaches. So according to that, if you have the good list of the pain points, always I believe in always the pain points. If I can figure out that what are the exactly the pain point that I am going to solve for my clients, for my prospects, then nothing else, no personalization is like the on the personal level is required. If you are talking about the pain of any prospect, they are going to listen in because you are touching him, you are touching them
That's
basically. So they will listen you, they will give you the time because they know that you are going, you have something that is going to make easy of their life, so they will give
definitely.
the time. So yes, absolutely, I am agree with you as well. Apart from this, when we are talking about the sequencing and all, there are lots of the tools available in the market, as you already mentioned, Apollo, Zoom Info, and Instantly. There are lots of the tools, Smart Lead. They are already providing the sequence and all, and you can like set your outreaches over there that on what day or what is going to be the delays between the one step to the another step. Like if you called someone and if he didn't responded, then what is going to be your second step. So there are lots of the tools available in the market. I believe that you also have used a few of them, right? So
Yep, definitely.
may I know which tools you like a most, like whether it's going to be Apollo or the Zoom Info or any other tool that you would like to suggest to our audience?
Well, every tool comes with their unique features, but the only thing my as an SDR I would look at is how's my cadence running, right? So is it prompting me properly? Is it making my work easier? How effective is that cadence? So now that AI is integrated, I think outreach is the utmost outstanding right now, and also SalesLoft as well for automation, especially the cadences.
Mm.
So I think these two tools is something that I would rely on.
Okay. Can you please tell me the names once again? Sorry, I missed that.
Oh, yes. So it's Outreach
Sales Outreach.
and Sales Loft.
Sales Loft. Okay. You use the Sales Loft, right?
Oh, yes, both.
Okay. As you already explained about the calls, how the opening should be look like when we are open our call with the prospect at the very first time. But most of the SDRs and the people like who are already in the higher positions, you have listened that very frequently that the cold calls are not anymore live. Like the RIP of the cold calls are here now. So what do you think about this? Like, do you also think in that way? But as I am already discussing with you, you always mention about that you like to call first of all to your prospect and introduce yourself, or maybe just giving them the hint that, oh, okay, so here is a Saeed who can be the point of the contact in the company or like that. But when we are talking about the, like, let's say there is a very fresh account that you have to target. You find out that, okay, this is the prospect where I can, where I should outreach. So in that case, what is the very first point of contact for you? And I'm talking about the platform actually, like which platform you're going to on which platform you're going to approach your prospect at very first, whether it's going to be a LinkedIn or the email or the on the call.
Well, I think there are like two questions right now, especially in terms of like cold calling and also what platform I would use.
Hmm.
So, firstly, cold calling is not dead. So, not at all. Cold calling, it has just evolved. So,
Hmm.
what's dead is robotic, script-based calling that doesn't respect the person's time. So, like
Okay.
you already gave an example that, if someone would just call me and say that, you know what, I'm here to offer a credit card, then you would definitely not, go ahead with that call, right? So
Mhm.
the truth is, if you can show up as human, relevant, and respectful in the first 30 seconds, it still works like a charm. And it immediately disarms the opposite person, right? No tricks, only trust. Being honest, right? So some of my best enterprise conversations started with being honest.
Mhm.
Cold calling works when it's thoughtful, not forceful, right? So cold calling is not dead. It's just that if we do not sound robotic and be more human, then I think it does. And my first tool is always calls. So I rely on calls. Sending out an email, I think, that's little dinosaur for me. So firstly, what I do is I call them, and the second tool is InMail always on LinkedIn.
Okay. If I ask you that how many calls you are dialing per day in these days, then
So my calls are basically about like 20 to 22 calls, right, in a
yeah.
day.
Okay.
Nothing, that's all. So I'm
Mhm.
not making like 100 calls a day.
Mhm.
So
So
because
these are the thoughtful calls only, right?
exactly. So my current manager, Daniel Raj, right, he's always behind quality and not quantity. So if
Mhm.
I just go back to him and say that, you know what, I've made 100 calls today, he'll be like, not be delighted. He'd be like, okay, how many responses on that? So if I have a prospect list of like 200 people to reach out to and I start calling them, and end of the day, I only have like two responses on it. So that's what it is. So basically, calls first, and then probably reach out on an email. And if I have to send something like probably a deck or something that would be relevant to the persona, then I would rely on email.
Okay, got it. That's a good strategy, by the way. Okay, but when we are talking about the calls, I believe that you also face the rejection, like whenever you have called someone and then he is directly saying you're not interested or I do not have the time. These are the common objections like on the call, right? So how you are handling this kind of the objections? I'm just talking about the very generic objections, like, hey, like you call someone, they directly hang up on the face, or maybe they are just saying not interested, or I have already my team who is taking care of it, or maybe sometimes not, I do not have the time right now. This is also one of the very common rejections. Let's talk later, and then after that, your all the calls goes on only on the voicemails, right? So how you are taking care of these objections?
Well, rejection is part of our job. So
That is the that is the main thing, yeah.
yeah.
Since
So
we
as an
have
SDR, I think you should believe that rejection is part of it, and do not feel low on that, right? So
Hmm.
one of the most common and my favorite objection is that we're already covered. And I'll probably say that, we've got everything in hand right now. So what I do is like I say I totally respect that. My response usually goes something like, "That's great to hear."
Hmm.
Most leaders I speak with actually feel very confident and about their current setup or probably the current vendor that they are working with. But many are also starting to ask, "Are we prepared for what's next?"
Hmm.
So, so CTO or a CISO always has to be prepared for the future, right? So what I do is I inform them that the landscape is evolving fast. Have you already taken steps to future-proof yourself against those? So basically, I'm not like poking holes here, right? So it's about planting perspective. I've learned that the best conversations come with you're not trying to fix something broken, but helping someone stay ahead before it breaks, right? So don't challenge the persona that you're reaching out to.
Mhm.
Expand their thinking in case if there is objection like that.
That's the great strategy. That's what my audience is looking for here from the experienced guys like you. So, as you mentioned, that rejection is the part of our journey. So, most of the time, like what you do when you have consistently getting the rejection, like what I am trying to say here, basically, it happens with all of us. So, there is a time like when you are dialing the numbers for a week and you are not getting a single meeting, let's say. Okay, so how you keep yourself very energetic in that particular time, because it's happened, because in the sales I understand that we all are doing most of the time the repetitive task, building a lead list, then dialing the numbers, trying to pick it up and trying to take the meetings out of it. But the thing is, when you're doing a boring thing constantly, we are getting bored ourselves as well. So the thing is, we always have to keep ourselves energetic. We have to figure it out that like we have to enjoy the moment, even if we are getting the rejections on all day. So how you are handling this situation with you, say?
Well, like I said, rejection is part of it, part of our job, and also burnouts can actually wear you down more than the rejection. I think burnouts because of the repetitive task, like you mentioned, and there are so many other factors that will actually wear you down and break you down. So, as an SDR, I think the first thing that you have to be ready is that not every day is going to be a happy day for you. Right. So I'm
Mm,
sure, like, out of like 22 working days, 15 days might not be as you think, right? So, um, rewards is something that helps yourself. So you reward yourself and respect yourself, right? So I'm sure, like, and the entire week might go without a meeting,
mm,
without a successful connect. So
mm,
what you do is like reward yourself. Take your day off, or probably take some time off after your work. Go out and reward yourself. Probably get a good cake that you can eat for. What are you craving for?
mm,
Probably chicken wings is something that helps me. So I order like 4 chicken wings, and then I reward myself. I'll probably go out, sit alone for some time on my terrace, and think about the wins that I've had previously.
mm.
So one quarter I was able to achieve like 120%. But what happened the next quarter? I was like at 80, 60, 70. And then what I do is I think about the previous quarter, my achievements. I'm
Mhm.
sure, like, that will definitely help you.
Absolutely, yes. Actually, when you're rewarding yourself, the thing is that like it will give you the boost that, yeah, so then you are preparing yourself for the next one, right?
Definitely.
So I what I do, I always set a target for me, for myself. If I got in this number of the days, in this number of the days, if I got this number of the meetings, I will buy a shirt for me, or I will whatever that is requirement for me, even however I'm going to purchase that, but at least I put it into that situation. If I got this, I will purchase this or something like that, which I like.
Well, actually, what I meant to say is that even if you're like, if there is a win, that's when you reward yourself, right? Like
Yes,
you
yes.
get your commission. But what I'm saying is, like, even if you're not winning and
Mm,
there's a bad day, it's
mm.
okay. Reward yourself,
Okay,
irrespective
that's
of it.
also going to work, yeah.
Yeah, the other way.
Mm. Okay, the thing is that say the one more thing, it happens with all of us. No one can deny. Like when we start our career as a new SDR or as a BDR, what happens, we always stuck in the activity trap. Like we come on the system on the very morning, and we start our day with building the list, and then like figuring out the way that how we are going to approach that. Sometimes we start reading and reading, or maybe we are exploring the things, we are exploring the company profile or something like that. Okay, and we stuck on in that, and at the end of the day we figure it out that, oh, I didn't did anything. I have no leads. I have no calls scheduled for the next day. This activity trap is happen with all of us in our initial days, right? Now we know that how to manage those things. So how that's what I say. This is also depends on your time management skill, that how you're managing your time, how you're chunking your times in the parts, and you are doing what you have to do in that particular time slots, basically. So just I would like to understand that what is your strategy to escape yourself from those kind of the activity traps, and how you manage your time when it comes to define your to approach your results, like.
Well, activities definitely can be, I mean, you get into a loop, right? So you're losing your time, and then probably you're not aware what needs to be done. Everything looks on a priority. So what I do is forget vanity numbers. I track what actually drives results. Firstly, percentage of ICP connects. So the persona connects to the total outreach. So if I'm pitching to the wrong person, it's like sending your resume to the HR for a CEO role, right? Shot in the dark. So also the second thing is response rate by persona. If no one's responding or replying your message, it is not personalized. It's a masked SMS. So also no dear sir, madam here.
These are
Meetings to
the.
SQL ratio as well.
Mm.
So what I track is the number of SQLs generated towards the meetings. So if I'm booking 10 meetings and only one turns into a real opportunity, we definitely need to talk on that. So that's like passing prelims, but not cracking the mains in UPSC, right? So these metrics are on my daily dashboard, and that keeps me honest and to the ground as well. Yeah.
By the way, which CRM you guys are using?
Well, currently we're using Salesforce.
Most of the companies use the Salesforce.
Yeah. So I think it's one of the market leaders right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the way they are helping to manage the pipelines and the things and the data they are showing as in KPIs, like these are the awesome. The platform is the awesome actually on the Salesforce. Like
Yes.
you're talking, if you're comparing it with any other CRM, right? Okay. And the thing is that like we already discussed about the Chat GPT and all. You know that there are lots of the tools that are already integrated with the AI. They are helping you to personalize the masses. They are helping you to find out the right prospect as per your the criteria that you have given to that particular tool, right? What do you think that are these tools doing their jobs correctly, or no, it is not the worth that we are spending our time just to giving the input and just for the result that even we are not expecting to get from those kind of the tools. So what is your take on it?
Well, I think it's the way you use it. So tech is your ally, but only if you use it wisely.
Hmm.
So I understand that, we use CRMs. It's really difficult to upload data. It's time consuming, and then there's so many errors showing up. What I use is mostly ChatGPT, right? So ChatGPT and DeepSeek is something that I use to speed up research, draft messaging, and also summarize profiles.
Mhm.
But here's the key. I always review and refine, right? So
Correct.
automation gives me scale, but insight in voice gives me authenticity.
Mhm.
So though we have these tools, I'm sure like you have to also use, also learn to effectively use this, efficiently use this.
Right, right.
So I understand that, some SDRs are putting all the confidential data of a company into ChatGPT and asking to draft a response or probably draft an email. So I don't think that would be the right thing to do. And also like use the right prompts. So you can be more candid with ChatGPT and inform, what, this is what I'm lacking and this is what I need to do. That's my goal. And yeah, it definitely helps you.
Even I have seen this kind of the prompting on the Chat GPT by few of the colleague. I use a few of the like SDRs and all. Like they are just asking the Chat GPT that I am targeting the e-commerce industry or maybe any XYZ industry, and I want to ask them to take my mobile application or any sort of the services. Please draft a personalized message out of it. No other inputs and nothing else, and they are expecting that it will give them the personalized message. And obviously, ChatGPT is giving the reply even, but they are not understanding that this reply is just a generic reply. He has to use his mind to make it more like insightful or the personalized one. So I have seen that those kind of the prompting as well. So if you are talking about even the chat GPT, I must say that you also you should learn the prompt engineering as well if you want to
Definitely.
properly use the chat GPT, and that's the like awesome tool if you are using it very wisely, because if it helps you to save your lots of the time. Let me tell you one thing. Before 2 years, like in if you're talking about the 2021 and 2022, when the chat GPT is not on that way, like we are spending our almost 2 hours on a single prospect if we have to explore their profile, the podcast, or whatever the things on which they are featured on. Like let's say if there is a CTO from any company and I want to figure it out, like what he is talking about in these days, what exactly they are on to it, what the company is exactly looking for right now. So we are spending almost 2 to 3 hours just to figure it out. And again, the other 2 to 3 hours just to listen the podcast, figure it out that what are their thought process and all. But now you can just give the input to the chat GPT and it will summarize you the whole story. And then you can pick it the point and then you can do your further research and you can go ahead with your personalization and all with your outreach. Right.
That
So
is true.
yeah, for anyone who is just starting out his career in the sales, especially in the tech sales side, like if why I am always giving the force on the tech sales, because if you are selling something else, even if the SaaS product, what happens in the SaaS product, that is even the easy when we are talking about the tech sales directly, the services side, because in the product you have the idea that what is the product, what kind of the problem that your product is solving. You have the proper training by the company on the product. You have almost the idea that what kind of the ideal customer profile you can target to sell your product. But when we are talking about the services, most of the time we have to go with the hypothetical situations and we have to go with the assumptions as well that maybe he is looking for our services, right? So what is, if I ask you to give a advice to the new SDR who is just starting the career, that how he can save the time, how he can get most out of their hard work, then what is going to be that? Can you please?
So, well, I would say that as an SDR, your first 90 days are not about proving yourself or competing with the existing SDRs or AEs. They're about building your foundation first.
Hmm.
So here's my playbook for any SDR starting out. Learn your ICPs,
Hmm.
right? So your personas,
Hmm.
it has to, I mean, you have to learn your personas like your best friend. Understand their pain points, their priorities, and how they measure success. Then shadow your A or AD like an intern. So, so I understand like learning, from someone would be difficult, but your AE would be your master, right? So treat every meeting, every email, every objection that comes in existing conversations, in masterclass. You have to treat it in such a way that, you're learning something. You have to get something out of it. So when you shadow your your existing SDRs, I mean to say the tenure SDRs, so that's something that you can actually learn so many things.
Hmm.
Write every rejection down. So let's just say you get a rejection, pick up a pen or probably note it down, not just as a loss, but as a lesson that, your journal can actually become your growth story,
Hmm.
right? And the
Hmm.
best advice I received from my current manager is that Dan said, someone I really respect for his belief and guidance. He told me, in your first 90 days, don't just memorize the product, learn the language of the buyer, right? That shift in mindset from features to business conversations has made all the difference. I'm thankful to Dan for trusting me, coaching me, and helping me find my voice in this new chapter of my sales journey. So that's a great advice, and I think it came at the right time and the right point. Yeah, I'm doing that.
What kind of the signals or intent data are you looking for before reaching out to someone? Are there things you look out at the most that new SDRs ignore, basically?
Well, I think all the SDRs are equipped right now with the right tools and to figure out, what needs to be the intent. But what I do is, apart from leadership changes or job postings, also look at referrals and partner connects. All right. So for warm introductions, they do magic,
Mm,
even in the digital world. So referrals and partner connects is something really important. And also webinars or event attendees. If they are showing up, they are curious. So my job is to build on that curiosity with relevance. So I treat lead generation like platform recognition.
mm,
So I hope you get the point, right? So once there is a small intent, or probably you show up for an event, then yeah, 50% of the job is done. So you just have to get a meeting right now.
mm, mm. Right. But the thing is, say, like I already asked you several times, by the way, in this podcast itself, that when we are talking about the intent and signals, like if you are going to view the podcast or the tools that we are using in day-to-day activities like the Apollo and Zoom Info, there are lots of the webinars available from them as well. And where they are talking, even they have their this feature in their tools where you can find out that intents, right? But when we are talking about those, the intent that is available in the tools, that is, according to me, it is not worth to follow those intents. Actually, it is just a search-based intent that they have. Like if someone from any company is searching for any particular service, they just show is like an intent, but it is not the active intent, I must say. So what is my question here to you, that when we are talking about the active intents, like for, let's say, if there is a company who is actively looking for right now the security services or the cloud services or maybe any custom software development services, what kind of the intents, even not the what kind of the intents, how to find those intents, that yeah, this is the prospect they are looking for right now, for my kind of the services. So how you are figuring it out, what kind of the research you do for this?
Basically, like I said, company fundraising or probably IPO,
Mm,
mergers or acquisitions activity.
mm,
Probably if they are geographically expanding, that would be one thing. Apart from that, I would also rely on technographic triggers like what are the competitor tools that they're using,
what are the
right?
technology they are using actually?
Yeah, what are they currently using? And recently, if they have adopted any related tools,
Mm,
something like that. And if it is a enterprise, then I would look at third-party intent data via tools like topic searches, companies researching topics relevant to your product,
mm,
right? Competitive keywords, they're reading about our competitors, or probably they're engaging with content around your space.
okay.
So it could be something when it comes to a company like yours. I'm sure, like, in case if they are looking for, I'll look at their annual reports. Annual reports will get you so much info. What would be their priority, expansion, and everything. Yeah, that would be the great intent signal for you.
Mm, got it. Okay, it's lovely discussion with you, Saeed, however, and I must say that this is the, like, the insight that we discussed today in this podcast is going definitely going to help the like upcoming SDRs and the BDRs who are just looking to build their career in this industry, like in the tech sales specifically. So one last question that I would like to ask you before we close this podcast: what is the one advice that you would like to suggest to the new SDR and BDR to focus on in these days?
Well, um, yeah. So be the SDR you would respond to, right? So
Mm,
learn the business, not just the script. Chase outcomes, not titles. And remember, you're not just an SDR, right? You're the tip of the spear.
mm.
So do not let yourself down. Be it whatever it comes.
Okay.
So that's what I would say. Yeah.
And this is the discussion that we had today. Actually, this is also going to give them the insight and the helps that they are looking for. Like we discussed about the calls, like most of the companies or most of the even the new SDR and the BDRs and the new people are saying that the calls are not that much effective right now in these days. I must say, we have the example like Saeed here and me also, who loves to make the calls to the prospects. And the thing is that when you are calling someone, actually you are directly interacting with them. That is not happening on the over the email or on the LinkedIn. So what is that? Like, I'm not saying to avoid the LinkedIn and the email. That is also going to be a part of the sequence. But if you are interacting with them on the call, actually you are directly talking with them. Okay. The second thing, the most of the executives in these days say, like, we are getting most of the time the voicemail. It's specific, especially in the USA or in the Germany or in the Australia. So I must say that the actually the voicemails are also the gold of yours. Like, this is the space where you can directly drop your message, and even again, like you just mentioned about the personalized message on the in their voicemail. And definitely, you know, one thing that in the USA, or I must say about the USA, first of all, like they always listen the voicemail. Like, we always take care of our WhatsApp messages. They don't forget to listen their voicemail, because most of the time, if they are doing something else, they are doing that only, right? They are not going to focus on the mobile itself. So they always put their phones on the voicemail, but they always listen back to their voicemails. And that is the your time where you can explain that why you are approaching them, what is the reason basically. And that is the also the place where you can make them interesting in you, and like intrigue them to call you back or leave you a message at least to on your number or on the WhatsApp. And don't forget to drop your number to reach out them to back to you at least. So this is my take on about the calls right now.
Definitely, I totally agree with you. I think it depends on the geography as well and the culture shift.
Hmm.
Most of the Indians would rely on calls, right? We prefer to talk to people. Mostly, I mean, like the Western countries, they rely on emails or probably voicemails. Yeah, it depends on who's your persona again.
Exactly. Yes, obviously. And that's why I always say to run when you're starting your career, you also have to run whatever the territory you have assigned. You always, first of all, on the initial few days, just learn about your territory, like what are the culture of their, how the people and the businesses doing the business in that particular territory or that particular region. If you're talking about the Germany, that is totally different from the USA. If you're talking about Australia, that is also totally different from the USA and Germany. So you have to run that, like what are the time zones, what are the like how the people are talking over there, like what they give the priorities. Like, if you're talking about the USA, they are fast and straightforward. They don't like to move the words here and there. They like the straightforward thinking persons, right? If you have the capability to do that, do it. If not, then just deny it. They are happy with that. But if you're talking about the other country like the Middle East Asia or the India itself, then here is the first you have to focus on the relationship building. Of course, everywhere the relationship building is the priority, but in India and in the Middle East Asia, like the Dubai and all the other countries, you have to focus on the relationship building first. They always give the priorities who is good in, like in the terms of the relationship, the rapport building, the case studies and all. So you also have to think about that as well, right? Say.
Definitely, definitely. Agree with you.
So, yeah, so thank you so much for your time, Saeed. It's really nice discussing with you. And I must say that your insights are really practical, and that is also that is definitely going to help the people who is listening our podcast, and that will help them to crack few deals in the next few months, obviously, by following your strategy as well. But again, build. I always say that build your strategy by yourself as well. Just listen to us, then um, think about your own services, that what you have to offer to your prospect. According to that, build your list, build your strategy, build your messagings and offers, and according to that, approach your target and crack the deals, right?
Well, definitely. I also, before we wrap up, I want to just take a moment to say thank you. Big shout out to you, Tarun, for hosting this podcast
Thank
and
you.
actually creating a space where real SDR stories can be shared without filters.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's rare, if, it's a rare to find platforms like this that actually keeps it honest, practical, and also so relatable. Also, like to take this moment to thank my sales director, Shafida. Thank you for encouraging me to show up, speak up, and represent the voice of SDRs on this platform. Your support means a lot. And of course, my current manager, Daniel Raj,
Mm,
you've been a constant guide, coach, and pillar of trust. Your belief in me, and even on the days I doubted myself, is something I'm always grateful for.
mm.
Thank you, everyone, and all the best to the SDR community.
Thank you so much, Sai. Thank you so much for your kind feedback. And definitely that's why I started this. I know that I am not that kind of the speaker on the podcast, but yes, I am trying to be. And it is not exactly the podcast that we are seeing in these days on the YouTubes and all, but it is more about the sharing the learnings that we had in our past. And I'm just sharing my experience, new whosoever is trying to build their career in this space, right? So thank you, Said, for your kind feedback again. And have a nice day then. Yeah, we'll talk soon again. Thank you. Bye bye,
Thank
Said.
you, Karan. Take care. You have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye.